Okay, hi all. We are back again with week 2. So here are your assignments for this week. For Monday, you are watching this video and you are reading chapter 1. So hopefully you all have your books by now, your texts by now. And this is Thinking, Reading, and Writing Like a Writer. On page 5, you're going to find a checklist of reading like a writer. And these are questions that I really want you to think about as you continue your reading. Now, I know some of you are going to feel that this is a little top heavy in the reading, but I want you to remember that writing and reading, it's like breathing and living, right? So there's no way to write without reading and really reading voraciously, which is why I do assign you stories that should be interesting and entertaining and also instructive, kind of like delicious and nutritious food, right? So Jill McCorkle's Magic Words, and all the readings you're going to get are at the end of our textbook. Whether you have that textbook virtually or hardcover, you should be able to find them there. So yeah, you're reading that for Monday, as well as this chapter 1, Thinking, Reading, and Writing, Writing Like a Writer, and thinking about that checklist, okay? You are also starting on chapter 2. Actually, you can finish chapter 2, the extreme importance of relevant detail. And that's something I want to, really hone in on. So one of the reasons I picked this textbook is that, it doesn't give you the impression that fiction is something you can just like work on one little thing and then go to the next little thing and the next little thing. All of this stuff is integrated, which you probably all know already from 2010 or 2030 or is that course I taught last year, from your intro course to creative writing. And it all works together. Okay. And you know that from reading, right? That, it's not just you are building a character and then you're moving to plot. No, the way in which you're building the details you're selecting to show, and that is that writing adage, right? Show, don't tell. What you're selecting to show us has everything to do with plot. It has everything to do with moving the story forward. So you are going to be telling us some things. Obviously, you can't show everything. Otherwise, the story would never end, right? Your senses are alive to so many moments and so many seconds. So it's important to be selective in what you show us. But you are, when that is important, it needs to be done. And most likely we're going to come back to that again and again and again, which is use your senses, right? Get out of your intellect, get out of your head, and get into your body. And in fact, while you're writing, really use your body and think, what is my character smelling right now? What is my character tasting right now? What is my character feeling right now, right? So that we get more of the external world of your character as you're writing. One of the biggest, beginner mistakes is to think that, I need to leave all this up to the reader's imagination. No, the work of world building is the work of the writer, and the reader has enough to imagine, right? The reader is still taking words off a page and trying to create a whole world with them. So your job is to give as many details as possible for that world to be created, and the relevant details, the details of this particular story in this particular moment that you are telling. So I'm asking you to take your notebook, and you can read through this assignment for your notebook. And I'm not going to see this right now. This is, just the beginning of you kind of thinking about character. And in discussion board number 3, you are going to page 10. That's in my virtual copy anyway. It's on page 10. It's at the end of chapter 1. It's that drawn experience exercise, and you are uploading that for us. Okay. And we are going to be responding to that. We're going to be looking at that, and your peers are going to be responding to it. So, you want to think about drafting it before you just post it, right? Really work on it a bit. For Wednesday, you're listening to this podcast, and as you know, Fiction 3 is going to be a podcast, and it will be based on this type of New Yorker podcast, although you will be working with your own work rather than a writer that you've chosen. Here, a writer reads a work that has been influential to him or her, but in your process narratives, when you will be talking about other work, this is the kind of thinking you're going to be doing about how you've been influenced. And it doesn't even have to be a direct influence. Okay, so For Wednesday, you're listening to that, and you can read the story alongside the reading there. Also at the end of our text, and you are completing discussion board 4, in which you are describing an event on page 18. Okay, and then you have the quiz on Friday, and that will just cover the reading mainly, as well as this video that you're watching right now. So the reading in our textbook, as well as these stories also in our textbook. Okay. And here are your discussion boards and just your weekly wrap up here. So again, back to relevant detail. I just want to talk a little bit more about, getting into your senses and thinking beyond just the visual. That is the go-to sense, as I think a lot of you are aware, is, what do I see right now in front of me? Remember that, we will be, doing some exercises around this, but that the way a character perceives and describes something has everything to do with how that character feels. So one exercise I really like, and you might want to try it now if you want to pause this video and try it in your notebook if you have the time, is to have your character look at his or her shoe, right, in a good mood. How does that character describe the shoe? Or how would you describe your own shoe in a good mood? What details are you going to notice? What are you going to compare them to, right? So that's where the figurative language comes in. That's where the simile and the metaphors come in, as you start to compare an object to a feeling or a thought. And what does a character who feels unhappy or brokenhearted or angry, how would that character describe that same shoe, right? So the same object, just the character is feeling differently while describing it. And there you're going to render so much of who that character is. Okay. And that's showing because you're not just giving us the objective, things to describe a shoe, the shoelaces, the tongue of the shoe, the rubber, the color, right? You're actually imbuing it with feeling. And that there we get the showing. There we get a sense of, oh, this goes way beyond just the shoe. This tells us a lot about how the character is seeing the world right now, a lot about how the character is perceiving, him or herself, themselves. Okay, so as you read and think about John Updike's story, as well as Becky Hagertson's story, McCorkle's story, really look at how these authors are rendering detail. What are they doing with detail? And I'd like you to underline or just highlight where you see the characters, the author using detail to get us to understand the character's mentality, or to get us to understand the feeling of the moment of the scene. Okay, that's what I want you to really pay attention to this week. All right, I will see you next week with another brief video, and please do reach out if you have any questions. And my office hours, as you all know, are Wednesday and Thursday, 11 to 12:30. So I will be online then, but I would like you to reach out and let me know if you do plan to join, so that I can, slot you in. Okay, have a great week, everyone.